Swatch, swatch, swatch.
I took a day off from filming to get some much needed sleep, and I am well rested. There's a kitty right there on the other side of the screen, and I just said to her, I gotta run mama up the hill, kitty. I will be back in 2 days' time. I don't know if that little kitty understands me. That is the plan. Once more up into the high country in Colorado, and then right back here at last. God willing, and the creek don't rise. Other end of the same day, 11 p.m. Denver time. Four gunshots across the way over there on Federal. The sound of some idiot's drone flying overhead for God knows what reason. The Son of Man has no place to rest his head. But even he is not as poor as the 5 stray cats to whom he fed the remnants of his duck fat. The rain's coming. The sleep is pouring down. Tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is the last day of the Hell March. There is and will be a transition. So say we all. Let's start all over again. From the top. This is the long Shaggy Dog story of 2 weeks on the road. I'm telling you this story from the perspective of having lived it. That probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. What I mean by it is, I'm starting the story near the end. The whole world is my public restroom. I pay no fees, except the ones that must be paid. It's a good a place to start as any. It's a good a place to stop as any. The beauty and the hiss. Let's take it again from the top. The top near the end. I'm finally up out of the city. It doesn't really matter which city. They're all the same. It happens to be Denver in this case, but it might as well be Seattle or Phoenix or Dubuque. The job right now is simply to get this semi-satisfying rental truck down to Flagstaff by 3 p.m. tomorrow. Then I can pick up my truck at great further expense and go home. The beauty and the hiss. The tristesse. This is where we begin. This is where we will remain. Collegiate Peaks. I would love to finally quit smoking. If I'm being honest, it's mostly because that it costs too much.
In 3.5 miles, keep right to US 24.
Keep right. As much as I would like to quit smoking, what I really want is to never be in a place where they're telling me that I can't. Rental cars, motels, restaurants. In the past, it's even included my own fucking house. But the time for that is past. An extension of that idea might be that I don't ever want to be in a place where I can't just step outside and piss. I don't want to have to find a restroom. What the hell kind of way is that to live? I do think I need to find a place to sleep. I'm going to stick with the 285 as much as I can. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure if I walked into the Natural Grocers and lit one up, that they'd have a problem with that. So technically, this qualifies as a place where they would be telling me I can't. But running in there long enough and giving up my vile habit long enough to grab some sardines and some pumpkin seeds in exchange for not only nourishment but also a clean place to piss and even to dump what's left of a large healthy load of duck fat. That's worth it, right? That's a good trade-off. So thanks, Natural Grocers. I will continue to behave like a Christian and not smoke in your store for the brief amount of time that I need to be in there. No hard feelings at all. Furthermore, there's always the issue of finding coffee, of course. They don't want you smoking in those places either. But, again, trade-offs. I'm just saying that for the most part, I don't want to have to spend 8 hours in a place where I have to step outside unless I want to step outside. $500,000 for a storefront, $375,000 for a lot, nigh on to 3/4 of a mil for a very modest house. I would say that Blessed Salida in Chaffee County, now this is Colorado, is a bit of a pipe dream at this point in terms of finding 4 walls and a roof with a bed inside them, where they won't tell you not to smoke or where to piss. No, for that we are stuck with Holbrook, Sanders, Chambers, maybe at the outside putting something up on that lot in Silver. It's just how it goes. Still in all, I'm happy to stop here every chance I get. Take in a little small town charm in a small town that actually has it, and some breathtaking mountain vistas, and some pumpkin seeds, and some sardines, and some coffee. The further you get from the highest of the high peaks, and the further you get from the well-watered places and fertile valleys, the less people there are, for the most part. Where the money is, where the water is, that's where you find the crowds as well. The cities, the places of too many people. I love me a Salida, but no normal person can afford to move in there fresh. So I keep driving south into drier and drier terrain, further and further away from the money, further and further away from the people. And I'm not rueful about that. I'm not wistful about that. This is how I want it. In some ways, this is how I have always wanted it. Storms are coming. But me and the deer of Sequatchie, we're the kind who can live through it. right, baby cats. It says welcome, Sawache, Colorado. It's not even 10 o'clock in this morning, but I've already made a lot of tracks. But before I did any driving at all, I cried. And she said, I can see you're in a lot of pain. And I wish there was something I can do. And in response, I should have said, it doesn't hurt, baby girl. It's not the kind of pain that you think. You see, I'm not sobbing. I'm just letting the feelings be felt. And I'm letting the tears run down my cheeks. It's not really about pain. When I say to the inquiry of an intermittent intimate, this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. That's not a lie, but it's also not the whole truth. I am simultaneously the happiest I have ever been in my life. And I am also more filled with the sadness of this world than I have ever been in my life. Let there be 400 more miles, and let them happen with the blessing before the sun sets again. My life is officially my own again. Maybe even more importantly, in the very short term, my truck is my own again. And really, the only reason I'm bothering to film it all in this moment is to send out a love letter to the Lariat. Because after 2+ weeks of total abandonment to the tender mercies of airport parking, she fired up instantly all 305,000 miles on her old bones without so much as a tap on the gas pedal. So, love you, baby. It's good to be home.